Hello, everyone, and welcome to another great episode of the Business Minds Podcast. I'm Christopher Shaw, founder of the BeInfinite.co, which powers the business minds. Today, we have one of my favorite people in the world, Miss Donna Carter. She started an organization that's going to protect those that protect us. Stay tuned. Hello, Donna. How you doing?
Hi, Christopher. I'm fine. Thank you.
That's
Thank you for
good.
having
Thank you
me.
for joining. Of course. Thank you for joining us today. Um, you're one of my 5 people that inspire me to do more every day. Just from your background and what you do and the way you really opened up your not only just your business and allowed my company to help you with the business, but your life too. You're so open and you really helped me in so many different ways. And I'm just so glad to have you on this podcast so that people can get just a little touch of Miss Donna Carter in their life. So, let everybody know who you are, your organization, and how you're making a difference.
Okay. Thank you so much. I'm moved, so I will. I am, like you said, Donna Carter. And as you know, because you've been along with me on this ride from the very beginning,
Very beginning. You're right.
I am the founder of a nonprofit 501c3 called Going Ballistic, and it was inspired in the wake of Uvalde. And I have a 5-year-old son, and so those two
Mm-hmm.
things are the catalyst to my inspiration. And we Going Ballistic supply rifle resistant ballistic equipment to rural community sheriff's departments. Um, we, my brother-in-law is a retired Texas Ranger, Matt Coffin, who is the vice president of Going Ballistic, and information that we um, talked about on a phone call after Uvalde, where he informed me of some things I didn't know, which was part of the waiting that was done in the footage. I'm sure most of your viewers, if not all of them, saw,
Yeah.
was because they were told that a rifle resistant ballistic shield was on the way from the next county. And so when I found that out, I was upset and I said, well, doesn't every county have one? And the answer is no, including my own county where my son would go to school. And so, I feel the Holy Spirit inspired that very first conversation. And my hope and prayer is that he is the one kind of doing this, and I'm just along for the ride. And I show up and pray up, and I get to do cool things like this, like talk to you.
Well, when I first met you and you kind of laid out, what you're going to accomplish, I didn't even realize that not everybody had a rifle rated ballistic shield. I mean, us not being in that field are thinking that's just part of their equipment. And matter of fact, I would even take it so far as I thought every police officer had one. Maybe that's a little out there thinking, but that's what I was thinking too, in their trunk or something. I'm thinking, I know we provide our law enforcement with everything they need to not only protect who they need to protect, but protect themselves so they can go and protect the next day. But you really opened my eyes to that, and I was like, wow, and Uvalde did too. Um, in the wake of it, but when you gave me some more inside information, especially the rifle rated part, there's different shields and stuff like this. I've learned so much dealing with you, and really really it's a really honor to be a part of this, to be a part of everything you're doing and who you are. We've helped, like you said, we've been together since the very beginning, and it's been an honor. Yeah, so with Matt, it wasn't hard to get the vision, and then you had to put the pieces together. How's that journey been going? Putting the pieces together to start this nonprofit.
Um, sometimes quickly, sometimes slowly. It in the beginning, it took on a life of its own. As soon as I spoke the words "going ballistic" out loud, it seemed to kind of just develop quickly, and then came the part of having to apply for the 501c3, which slowed things down quite a bit. But so it's been 1 year ago this month that
Yes.
Uvalde happened. And in that time, I have acquired the 501c3. We've gotten our letter, and that was in December. We partnered with HighCom Armor, and we have supplied a shield to Freestone County. We are targeting the next one again. In the beginning, I had ideas and notions, and I've learned to stay pretty pliable, because, as usual, God's plan doesn't always look like what I intend, and
Yeah.
that's okay. I don't know. I think I find a little bit of peace, and I know I'm so outside the realm of what I'm capable of doing, that either God's in control, and I can't even mess it up, or there's nothing I can do to make it work. And so
Mm.
I kind of rest in that, and try to do what I can and not worry about what I can't. And that line gets blurred way too often.
Wow, that's a powerful statement you just said. Worry about what I can and not try to worry about what I can't. I've known entrepreneurs and people who started nonprofits that have been in it for 10 years and still trying to force their control on everything versus just staying in their lane. So I mean, this is your first year. Have you ever started a business, a nonprofit? Or are you brand new to this? Or are you a seasoned veteran? I know, but just for the people.
um, so yeah, I have absolutely no background in anything that I'm doing. I am not, and going ballistic is not political. I
Yeah.
have, of course, in recent years, become more aware of what's happening around me, and how it is affecting my life personally, my son personally. Um, and I've become more engaged, which, you know, which has taken on, or in the beginning took on, a little bit of some legs in the political stuff, which is not my bailiwick. And,
Hmm.
some doors got slammed in my face, and that's what it takes for me to stop. So, but, I really kind of stuck my head back in the sand, and it, like I say, was Uvalde that I thought, it doesn't matter if they don't like me. It doesn't matter if, the path I was taking, was a failure.
Hmm.
I've got to do something. And it
Yes.
really was with the motive of, okay, God, what can I do? And, gleaning what I could from conversations and the people around me, um, and my own passions.
Yes.
Unfortunately or fortunately, my anger is what tends to crop up when I am when my personal values, my belief systems are infringed upon. So
Hmm.
I don't like it. And when I remember Columbine. So I remember over 32 years ago when Columbine happened, and just outside the realm of anything that had really taken place like that before. Um, and then how different things look 30 years later, and how more frequently, and it just seemed like, what is happening and
Yes.
why is this happening? And of course, I know the gun issue has been talked about more than enough, and I just felt so deeply for those people in Uvalde. And I thought, you know what? The day after it happened, I'm not going to be looking out at what should they have done. I mean, there will be some of that, but at the end of the day, I'm going to say, what could I have done to protect my own, right? And it's that whole mama bear thing, to where, okay, when I started to discover some of those things that could have been done, conversations that should have been had, about things that don't require the government, don't require law changing, that I wish we had talked more about for those families. And, picking up the phone and talking to local law enforcement, finding out and asking the question, if it were to happen tomorrow, like, what can we do? Like, let's just move forward with that mindset and disregard everything else, because those things aren't getting done anyway.
You hit the nail on the head when you talked about what can you do right now. So many of us do sit around and there'll be, the ones after something happened. Oh, somebody else needs to do this. Somebody else needs to do this. I really believe that, each one of us has a part in everything that goes on, and that we have more power than we really believe we do. We just don't take action. And if I know you heard it a lot, but I'm so proud to know you and be a part of this because you actually took action. And you were on the sidelines, and then you saw, hey, what can I do? That is just such a powerful statement. And anybody watching this, listening, that's what it boils down to, because what you can do so much more than you really believe you can do, especially if you have God by your side. I mean, come on. And I love how you always, your faith is such an important part of what you do. But no, and I've been with you firsthand when we've gone to events together, and you have a passion and a passion for this, no matter what. Like you said, it doesn't matter if somebody doesn't like you or whatever you're doing. This is so much bigger than you, right? This is so much bigger than you, so much bigger than just one individual. I'm gonna speak that words in existence. This is gonna be world changing. Have you ever heard that quote? The ones that change the world are the ones that crazy enough to think that they can make a change. And you're I'm not saying you're crazy, but but you have a passion, and you haven't let anything stop you. And this is a really big inspiration. That's why I wanted to have you on the show. Now, from going from not starting anything to this nonprofit that is changing lives, protecting those protect us, what have you learned from the business aspect as far as running not going from running a business, but did you have to realize, did you put in there that you had to do so many, run it like a business in order to move forward? Or what was your thoughts from that standpoint?
I have really just leaned into the people around me, like you, who know the things I don't know. I believe thoughtful prayer and consideration prior to decisions is really paramount. I don't always do that. And, I still suffer the consequences. I still have small failures all the time. It really is what they say about, okay, then I guess that wasn't what I was supposed to do, and getting up and trying to do it different, and not being broken by, the small failures along the way, and just taking it in stride, because, the failure just proves you're trying. And, so when I started to ask, like, what can I do? It started with substitute teaching at our public school. I knew I didn't have any idea what I was talking about. I'd never been in the classroom and things like that. And so it was really like, okay, they need subs. I can do that. And, here again, an object in motion kind of thing, that once we sort of set that ball rolling, then it's easier to keep it going. And even if it takes a hit, that just changes direction, right? It doesn't necessarily slow down momentum.
Oh wow, man, that's some words of wisdom right there from a first year, first time entrepreneur, nonprofit organizer, founder. And wow, I didn't realize that. I didn't realize that you had started substantive teaching, just to get out there and to, I guess, what, to be around the kids and understand the system and get to know it a little better.
Yes. I wanted to see for myself what
Okay.
you were talking about, in the classroom, in the schools, and, as far as actual physically being there.
Mhm.
And then, all the discussion about what they're teaching and curriculum, and seeing that for myself. Here again, even the 501c3 was really just seeking God. Like, God, I need to do something. And then I was just gonna, have an event or whatever. And then my brother-in-law was like, well, there's no reason to just stop at having one event. We could continue this on if you did a 501c3. Like, and it's just like, yeah, and doing it, and not, I think having the, not naivete or whatever about, like, okay, if that's what we need to do, let's do that. And just kind of chipping away at it is part of it. And then changing the direction. So going ballistic, was really about purchasing the going ballistic, or the ballistic equipment, and then distributing it to those who need it most. In the process, it has really become about all the things that make me go ballistic and everyone go ballistic, that are happening at, being a Texan, like at the border, or just, I couldn't go to church for a year, or, things that it's like, whoa, wait a minute. And not sitting quietly.
Man, Donna. I did not. Well, before we go on to my next question, that is really powerful. I love how you're just iterating. Just don't stop. Get it. You start. You go, and then you just kind of letting God lead the way. Man, that in itself is so powerful. I talk to so many people who want to start stuff, and I'm just so consistent with just, okay, get started. It's just do something. And you took it a step further and was even, man, you went into the school and became a substitute teacher. When you told me that, I thought that you had been a substitute teacher for a long time, and that's just what you kind of did. But I'm finding out new things about you, Donna. That is amazing, man. You didn't know where to start, so I might as well start in the school. Oh man, you talk about, that's the epitome of just, I want to do something and I don't want to sit here anymore. So before we go on, let people know how they can get in contact with Going Ballistic, and how they can donate and really be a part of this.
Yes, thank you. It's goingballistic.org, and that's our website. We are having an event in July. It's a public event. I want to invite all of your viewers, and have them invite all of their friends and their family, and help support what it is we're doing. It's going to happen at my house, at our land, and it's just going to be a really good time to get together and love on each other. It's even my husband at times is like, "What are you doing?" And why? What exactly are we going to do? And a lot of times my answer is, "I don't know." We're going to get together and love on each other, and really, faith gets brought into the conversation a lot, and I'm so grateful for that, because I think everyone knows we're in a spiritual war as well. But somehow we're forgetting about the other two things that he left us with, and that hope and love.
Hope and love.
And that this, number one, we know how it ends. Like, none of this should be a shock. we should be prepared, and if this is how it happens, then okay. But and also knowing that we are told like this is going to take a lot of fighting, and that we are
Yes.
in a war, and so we should not act as if we're not going to be prepared. And in the end, and this is what I've been thinking lately, is just love wins. Love wins. We
Yes.
know
Love
that.
wins in the
And
end.
so I'm thinking about having T-shirts made up like hashtag love wins. Like, if nothing else, fight for that.
Oh man, when you talk about that from that standpoint too, and then earlier you were talking about how this is bigger than political, because a lot of times our politics will stop us from, because you're in too deep to one side or the other. It'll actually stop you from seeing things clearly. Like, hey, it's bigger than this. And from a going ballistic standpoint, I love how you iterate that even from the beginning. I remember you told when we had the meeting at your house, you told everybody, "Hey, this cannot be one political side because kids are involved, families involved. This is so much bigger than us." So I really applaud you for incorporating that. I deal with a lot of entrepreneurs, and they cannot set that aside. They can't set that aside even to help themselves. And for you to already go in there with that mindset is a big thing, especially this is your first time around. So I just always admired you for doing that. Now there are going to be political beliefs, but some problems are bigger than we need everybody. We need everybody, and I love how you stress that from the beginning.
Well, in the whole, coming alongside. So I happened to get invited to something this last weekend that was called the Great American Summit. It was in
Mm-hmm.
Dallas, and it was at the at Gillies, and it really is the same mindset. And I came away from that asking myself, like, what have I done for our freedom? What have I done? What am I doing to protect our kids? Right? Like, we each need to ask ourselves that question. And if we
Mm-hmm.
don't have an answer, then we need to get one.
Man. Oh man, I'm gonna use that part right there to boost this platform so everybody sees it. That was great. You're right. And the way you keep going back to what you can do, if listeners, watchers, viewers, listen to this. That's where your mindset should be. What can I do to serve? What can I do to change this? Because we all, no matter who you are, have sat around, whether you're an entrepreneur, not an entrepreneur, nonprofit founder, whatever, and seen these problems. And then, I'm blamed. And then, for a while, blame somebody else, or somebody else should do this, blah, blah, blah. But then when you get to that epiphany, like, hold up, I can do even my little part. And I love how you just focus on that. We need to focus on what can we do. And that would, man, I could see a whole different world, you know. Man, Donna, this has been great. You want to give a shout out to Matt right quick? Because I know he couldn't be out here, but I met him too. Amazing. Everybody in Jeff, your husband, everybody that Troy, who got us together, the whole team, really amazing. You put
Yes.
together a great team. God has
So
blessed you.
I had a meeting with Matt and someone on doing a fundraiser, and the third party, of course, informed me or reminded me that Matt was my clout. So
Yes.
if it hadn't been for him, and if it hadn't been for his knowledge of what had happened, and then just how to possibly go about doing something, this never would have happened. And so I'm just so grateful. And then just this past weekend, I went to another event, and it was a nonprofit organization. And I just happened to, and they've been around for 40 years, I think. And I just happened to sit next to, at the table, one of the gentlemen on the very first board. He was one of the very first board members. In fact, of course, how they usually started was him, his wife, and a neighbor. And so I was just asking questions, how do you pick board members? Because Going Ballistic needs everything. We need sponsors, we need board members, we need strategic partners. I really, get down a rabbit hole sometimes, and so of course drop some balls along the way. But so I asked him, I said, well, how do you pick a good board? And I said, is it passion for the mission? And so he said, I learned that I do three things. He called it the 3 W's. And he said, you hope that out of each board member, you get at least 2 of the 3.
Okay.
But that it was wisdom. What was it? It was wisdom, wealth, and work. And so I just thought it was interesting because God really provided me with those 3 things from the beginning, which, Matt, who was the wisdom on kind of all the stuff, the inside information that we didn't have. My husband, which of course is been so gracious to be the wealth thus far. And my mom, I have to give, some props to my mom because she, the first thing is like, Mom, I have this idea, Jeff, I have this idea, and it's really, how can we help? And, and that, as as we all know, it takes a lot in the beginning, and it takes a whole lot of personal sacrifice. And it's part of those 2 questions. Like, if you're not sacrificing something, and for me, that's my time and time away from my family. And, I'm the worker bee, which I don't mind. But if you're not sacrificing in one of those areas, and really the wisdom can be just, what is it that you know about? And are you growing up, mentoring people in what it is because, this is happened under our watch, not so much yours. You're a little bit younger. But so like my friends my age, like we're having grandchildren. And so this last 30 years has been under our watch. And I personally am aware that it has started with some true repentance of knowing, because I didn't have kids, because I didn't have a dog in the fight. I was willing to sit aside on the sidelines and let this all happen. And that's not okay.
No. Oh my gosh, that's powerful. That is powerful, Donna. You're right. And a lot of us, sometimes we don't have that's not my problem, or I don't have anything over there. So you're not, but then eventually what it always does, whatever it is, creeps into your life. Man, that's powerful. I'm glad that you're giving this much past them, and you're giving wisdom right now, Donna. This is, wow. But man, so Donna, let's give that website one more time. Oh, let's go over the event one more time. So go over the event one more time. The event is
so July 15th. Right now we have Alan West speaking, and I have Rick Huckabee playing. He's from Nashville, and it is an outside backyard barbecue, family friendly, pet friendly. You're welcome to bring an RV and stay one night. We don't have hookups, but we've got the room, and we've got the lake for fishing. And it really is just about getting together and reminding each other that love comes first, and that we are not helpless. We are we're bound together, whether that be as Texans or Americans or both, or just as moms and dads and daughters and sons, and that we're just not going to stand for what's happening.
Man, we're not. You're good. Now that's goingballistic.org. Y'all go donate. Check out the event. You can see some news coverage of us giving away the first shield to Sheriff Shipley. I mean, there's a lot of information. You get a great overview of this wonderful organization. Get to meet Donna and Matt, and you just get filled with so much. And I know people who go over there, they're going to want to support. So yeah, check it out, goingballistic.org. Thank you, Donna, for being on this on our podcast. Thank you for everything you've done. It's a blessing to keep working with you.
Thank you. What a blessing you and your whole team have been to Going Ballistic and to me. And I'm just so grateful and proud.
Thank you. Okay, till the next Business Minds podcast. We'll check y'all later.
Godspeed.